Melisa from Phoenix, Arizona, talks about hysterectomy in San Jose, Costa Rica. She discusses the quality treatment, fast communication by Medical Tourism Corporation, and the quality of the facilities at the hospital. Procedures include hysterectomy and myomectomy. This is a two-part video series.
So I'm Melisa, and I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm a mother of 2 girls. So I had a myomectomy done in San Jose, Costa Rica. Yes, the communication with was very good from the beginning. I had made an initial informal general inquiry, and they responded easily within a day by email, and I believe I got a phone call as well, which was impressive, and actually was the reason why I stuck with them in the first place. I had done research on a few different medical tourism groups at the same time, and we weren't necessarily looking for a specific country. I was just more looking for that procedure in particular. So the fact that they were so quick to respond to my general inquiry is the reason why I actually chose them. One thing that was very helpful is I ended up needing, after I decided on the particular hospital that I was going to go to in San Jose, it turns out they needed additional testing done here. And because of the communication, with it being a different language, and having to deal with faxing and getting medical authorization and getting a doctor's note from the hospital in Costa Rica, it would have been incredibly complicated, if not impossible, if I would have tried to do that on my own. But because I use medical tourism, they took care of everything, and everything was done from beginning to end within a week. They took care of all the communication, all the faxing, all the phone calls, everything. And I was so grateful for that process, because I'm sure it would have taken me a lot longer to have made that happen. So we did have people discourage us, but those people also hadn't had any experience traveling outside of the U.S. And so it wasn't successful. They weren't necessarily successful in the reasons they gave for the discouragement. So the discouragement was more leaving the country to have surgery done, and then and all the unknowns that could potentially come with that. I had the surgery 4 months ago, and the surgery I ended up with was not the one that I initially went for. It actually was a little more complicated, and I ended up with a hysterectomy instead of a myomectomy. But the recovery process has been great. They required that I stay in the country 10 days post-surgery. But other than that, after the first 2 weeks, the recovery went really well. Well, one of the things I wanted to mention about the hospital is I think one point of hesitation for me going in was I'm not necessarily, I don't trust doctors immediately just because they're doctors. And so even doctors I work with here in the States, it takes me a while to actually have a point of trust and confidence. And so that was my only real hesitation about leaving the country to have a serious operation done. But what I would say is that upon meeting the gentleman who ended up doing my surgery, I met him a day before the surgery for the first time. I immediately liked him, and I immediately trusted him. And he was a wonderful doctor to work with. I think one advantage to being there that would not have happened in the States is even after the surgery, he gave me his personal cell phone number and offered to come and visit me where I was doing the rest of my recovery after I left the hospital. The cell phone he gave me also gave for me to call him while he was on vacation, which was going to happen a week later. He was incredibly thoughtful and thorough, and I completely trusted him. So that was a wonderful thing, and I think I ended up with a better situation with the surgeon there in a true bedside manner than I would have ended up with in the States had I had the same surgery.
Medical Tourism Corporation facilitates affordable medical and dental treatment at world-class international hospitals and clinics. Fill out the estimate request form on our site, medicaltourismco.com, for a free quote.